And a very good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Cadet First Class Club for yet another edition of This Week in Army Football, taking you to 8 o'clock, talking about the Black Knights coming off a bye week and heading up to what's always one of the most exciting and emotional games of the season. That's Senior Day, Army and Temple, a noon kick time at Mikey Stadium coming up on Saturday afternoon. Black Knights, as we mentioned, a bye week coming off a victory, Army's fifth of the season, 14-13 over Temple. How about a big This Week in Army Football welcome to the star of our show here on a Monday night. Back with us yet again, that is Jeff Monken. Jeff, welcome back to This Week in Army Football.
All right, glad to be back here, Rich, especially after a win.
Yeah, didn't have a chance last week to talk, with it being the bye week, but how about that Temple game? Tremendous effort by your defense. Your offense, the news story, grinding out the last nearly 10 minutes of the game and then making some smart plays down the stretch to avoid scoring a touchdown. You had to be very happy with that 60-minute grinded-out kind of victory.
It was, and just did what we needed to win the game. The defense certainly played a great football game, keeping them out of the end zone. They had the one score in the first half, and then right there at the end of the second half, and then at the end of the second quarter, we were trying to drive the ball and give ourselves a chance to get a few more points there before halftime. And as it turns out, we turned it over on downs, and they took it down and got a field goal. But just credit our defense for keeping them out of the end zone and holding them to 3, and it was the difference in the football game. And then in the second half, it was a great response by the offense to take the opening drive and go down and score and go ahead. And then we didn't relinquish the lead after that. The defense did a great job again in the second half, holding them to a field goal when they got down there in the red zone. And as you said, about 10 minutes of the last half, we just held the ball hostage and were able to take a knee at the end and win the ball game.
And great headsy play by Cale Helms, taking a slide. It was about a half-yard short. Then he had to take another slide.
Well, they were trying to let us score there. They had the
right.
quote-unquote French defense they were playing there, and we were wise to it. We knew that the only chance they had, or the only pathway to victory they had, was to let us score. And so with the timeouts there, we were able to kind of coach the team up and just said, hey, when you get down there inside the 3-yard line, go down and we'll knee this thing out and win the ball game. And so the guys did a really good job. It's a good job by Caleb executing that play. We call it a barrier play, and it was the right play to win the football game.
So your team, 5 wins, and when you look at the goal, Cale Helms, another big game for him on the ground. A lot of carries, some yards, completed one big pass in the game to his tight end, Parker Pulaski. He had a bye week. Cale Helms, how is he feeling? I know there's been a lot of carries have added up throughout this season.
He's doing great, and he's a rugged, tough guy, and he's handling all those carries very well. He has throughout the year. He had high 30s and low 40s in a game for carries, which is unheard of for a quarterback. But an Army quarterback, I think those guys are built that way. Bryson Daly, and we called on him a bunch from game to game, and we've called on Cale to carry the load for us. And I think he's done a really good job, and he's improving each week. Here's a guy that really before the season didn't have a lot of college football experience, and had prepared and worked and has just improved steadily throughout the year. So hopefully he'll continue to take care of the ball. He hasn't made a whole bunch of mistakes here as of recent games, and that's important. I think that's really contributed to us playing winning football. And our old coach told me the best way to win a game is not to lose it, and he does a pretty good job of helping us do that.
You turn it around this week against Tulsa, yet another team. There seem to be so many teams that you played last year who ended up making coaching changes, Tulsa being one of them. Trey Lamb, in his first year, came from East Tennessee State. His starting quarterback, leading tackler on the Tulsa defense, both transferred from East Tennessee State. Your thoughts on this Tulsa team? Obviously a new look. We see that across college football, and coached by Trey Lamb in his first year.
Trey's an outstanding coach. He comes from a coaching family, and so I've known that family for a long time and got a lot of respect for him. He's building a great program. They're very athletic, just very talented at the skill positions. Guys that stand out. They have excellent tight end, really tough, strong running back, doing a great job throwing the football. Got a lot of great concepts, and keep you on your toes, and then defensively, just playing very fast, rugged, physical football. So it's not easy to take over a program and just walk on the scene and win every single football game, but they've been competitive. They beat Oklahoma State early in the year. Took Temple to a 1-point game. I believe that was an overtime game. Been very,
they
very
went for the
competitive.
2 to win it, and they.
There you go. I knew you'd know. And they beat Oregon State this past weekend. So there's a team that's playing Power 5 football 2 years ago. So they got a good football team.
Trey Lamb, we watched his press conference today, called you one of the best coaches in America, says that he looks up to you. Jeff, how do you feel when you hear that kind of adulation from an opposing coach?
Oh, he's just trying to butter us up to
take it easy on him, right?
Not put anything on the bulletin board. Take it easy on us. Holy smokes, man! Those guys, the players he's got, the talent he's got on his team. We're going to have to fight for every inch we can get in order to win the football game. It's Army football, and we played 6 one-score games this year. Yeah. I mean, the margin for error, there is none. And so we've got to play almost perfectly in terms of executing our assignments and really trying to play fundamentally sound football. And, that's really nice of Coach Lamb. I appreciate him saying that. But I have a lot of respect for him, too, and certainly all he's done in his career so far.
So Army in Tulsa coming up on Saturday, noon kick time. We stress for everyone to be in their seats by 11:30. This is always one of the special games of the year, and it's senior day. You're going to say goodbye to this first E class. Jeff, I know each one is special in their own way, and I'll tell you what's tremendous about this class is 3 of the 4 years, obviously last year, the 12-2 year, this team's really had to come on in the second half of the year, and it's really showed its mettle by doing that.
They have, and I think they've had some really good leaders in front of them that pave the path for them, and I commend the teams we've had here. And as you mentioned, finishing strong at the end. Sometimes you don't start like you want to, but that doesn't mean you have to finish the same way. And it's not about the start; it's about the finish. And hopefully, these guys will carry that on and have a great finish to this season. So it's great to be able to honor these guys playing their last game in Michie Stadium. Certainly, this isn't the last game we're going to play. So we're not saying goodbye to anybody. We're honoring these guys and recognizing all the contributions they made to the program, and hopefully get a win on Saturday and then push on to the next one. We still got a lot of football left to play.
Limited tickets on sale. 877-TIX-ARMY, ArmyGameDay.com. Should be a great atmosphere for the home finale. Senior Day coming up on Saturday. Army against Temple. We talked about the Army defense, how much better they've played. You can almost draw a line halftime of the East Carolina game. Before then and after that moment, this defense has really upped its level. Colin Madison will forever be remembered for his performance against Kansas State. Also had a tremendous game against Temple with 11 tackles, 10 of them solo. He's going to be our special guest coming up. And Jeff Monken, what could you say about your senior safety?
What a great career this guy's had and is having. See him come on as a senior and be a starter and play as well as he has. Man, it's just awesome. I'm so happy for him. And we're certainly glad for us that we got this guy on our football team. He's one of our best tacklers. And his development over the 4 years here. He's a direct prospect, so came straight from high school, and just you got to grow up and you got to develop and learn and lift and all the things that it takes to become a Division I football player. And he is on the field. He belongs out there. He's one of our best players. Having a really good year. Obviously, the great game he had at Kansas State, and the defense, just you mentioned, and really it started in the second quarter of that East Carolina game. They got up 21-0 on us, and man, I hate we spotted them all those points, but something happened. We just kind of turned the corner there. I thought the defense played great in the second quarter and the rest of that ball game, and really have played very solid and played really well since then. So he's been a big part of that, and it's going to be fun to have him on the show.
Well, we will have Colin Madison joining us here on This Week in Army Football when we come back here at the Cadet First Class Club in just a moment. You're listening to This Week in Army Football right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield. And welcome back to the Cadet First Class Club this week in Army football. Army in Tulsa coming up on Saturday. Be in your seats around 11:30 a.m. The Senior Day ceremony will begin for this group of Army firsties, and we're joined by one of them now, a senior from Edmond, Oklahoma, a safety who has had his biggest games here in his senior year. How about This Week in Army Football? Welcome to number 30, Colin Madison. Colin, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
What a senior year. Let's start with the game against Temple. It was a grind out, rough and tough game. 11 tackles, 10 of them solo. In a 1-point game, every tackle could be the difference. Take me through that game, how it feels to be in a low-scoring, tight game and come up with those big plays.
Yeah, it was a gritty game for sure, but that's what we want. That's exactly what we want in our program, gritty games, and we were able to battle it out. Our defense got some key stops, and importantly, we kind of held them to some field goals, which are very important for us. And then our offense, the last drive, and man, when you're on defense and you're watching your offense just get first down after first down after first down, it's like the best thing in the world. You know, you're just standing over there and you're just watching the offense do what they do. And that's what the mob, the offensive line, prides themselves on. So watching them be able to do that and just finish the game with, I don't know what it was, 10 minutes or around 10 minutes left was just awesome.
Being able to knock that time off. Jeff, for you as a head coach, of course your defense playing well, but you don't want them on the field if they don't need to be, right?
No, I mean, that's a great way to play defense, is to keep the other team off the field. And we've played – I think we were looking at this afternoon. Coach Worley was looking at the statistics. Ohio State has played the fewest defensive snaps in the country this year, and we are number 2 for fewest defensive snaps. So really, I mean, I think that's – when you talk about complementary football, that's what you talk about. You talk about all 3 phases complementing each other, helping the other phases do their job. And what the defense does is – they keep the other team out of the end zone. 1 touchdown and 2 field goals, scoring 13 points. Hopefully you can score 14 or more and win the football game. But that's what they did. They kept the other team out of the end zone, and then the offense controlled the clock. And Coach Woody said to me today, we were sitting in the office, and he said, I told the defense after they had the 3 and out, in the fourth quarter, he said, you have to get 2 more stops before this thing's over. And turns out they didn't have to take the field again. So 9 minutes and 53 seconds. And it's amazing how the time just burns off of that clock when you're running the football and gaining 3 or 4 yards of play. And there's at times, gosh, you wish you just get in the end zone and get some points. But the slow, methodical, bleed slow type drives, really, it takes it out of the other team. They're standing over there wondering if they're ever going to get it back, and as it turns out, they were trying to let us score just to give themselves a chance.
We often talk about being in the zone, and I think that's a question asked a lot of time of offensive players, right? A big running game, a big passing game. But for a defender, 11 tackles, 10 of them solo. Are you seeing the game any different? Is there anything in a game like that in their performance where you look at the number of defensive snaps, the number of tackles you made, that's a pretty high percentage?
Yeah, I mean, it's just doing my job. It's just staying to the basics of the defense and what I'm supposed to do. When other people do their job, it puts me in a position to do mine and make plays. And so whenever I'm able to do that for other people, it's just a ripple effect. And the defense is able to play very well whenever we're doing that. And, a lot of guys, you don't see it in the stat sheet or anything, but a lot of guys, whether it be setting the edge or forcing the ball or spilling the ball, whatever they're doing, to where then I'm able to come up and fill a hole or fill a funnel. It just allows me to make plays, so I give a lot of credit to my teammates. So,
Colin, obviously the 11 tackle, 10 solo game against Temple, though a game you will always be remembered for in the annals of Army, will be the performance against Kansas State on the road. You got the start, 5 tackles, 3 pass breakups, the game-ending interception. I know a game that meant so much to you and your family, with your family ties out there to Manhattan, Kansas. Take me back to that special night. What a game that was to witness and be a part of, I'm sure.
Leading up to that week, we had a frustrating loss from Tarleton. We had a great week of practice, though. The guys were determined to win. We were practicing hard. We were playing hard in practice. And then getting into the game, the last drive, I was just trying to do my job. And, the last play, the interception, I give a lot of credit to, Eric Ford got his hand up. Caleb Fortner came through the hole. And, anytime you're able to just put your hand up on a quarterback, regardless of if you get the deflection or not, it's able to, you alter the quarterback's throwing angle, which is kind of what happened there. And then it ended up being a tip ball, so I was able to make a play. I made a play, but I give a lot of credit to my teammates who are right there to be able to cause an errant throw.
Jeff, when you saw Colin play and how much that game meant for him, at Kansas State as a coach. I know there were a lot of emotions for you after that game, but that's just one of those things. I guess you can't draw it up any better.
No, and well deserved, and the honor of being the National Player of the Week, and I mean, it's just fantastic. He played a great football game. I think our team played a great football game. They got up 13-0. You recall in that game, and there's another example where the defense just kept them out of the end zone. They had the one long pass on 4th down. They hit us down our sideline. It was the only offensive touchdown of the game. They had the kick return, but held them to field goals. And the defense just doing a great job of keeping us in the football game, and then the offense controlling the clock and going down there, making a 4th down right before the half. And so, again, it's just playing good team football. But you mentioned Colin having the 10 solo tackles this past game. He also had 10 solo tackles against Air Force the week before, which is the first time an Army football player has had 10-plus solo tackles since 2018. So he's done it 2 weeks in a row. So this guy's making a bunch of plays for us.
So that Air Force game, such a big one. And, Colin, you know how big the rivalry is. You want to win that Commander-in-Chief's trophy back. You're on the road. Your first time playing a game at Falcon Stadium for the whole team. Take me through that one, and maybe a different game than the Temple game was, but one that definitely came down to the wire.
Yeah, those Service Academy games, they're gritty. I think they're the most physical games that we have, Air Force and Navy, and they're always just really close games. So, you feel a little bit more pressure, I think. You can't really make an assignment error. You have to be perfect on your assignments, especially against the option offenses like the Service Academies run and kind of the gun option that Air Force has started running, similar to Navy. And that game means a lot to us because you're playing for a championship in the middle of your season, which not every team in the country can say they do. So winning that game sets us up for the next one on December 13th, which we're excited for.
So, Colin, take me back to the decision to attend West Point. And I know you had other options, and you come from Oklahoma here, so you're going to be playing a team from Oklahoma in Tulsa, which I'm sure is a team you grew up following, watching. What did it mean to become a Black Knight?
It was awesome. I was recruited by Tulsa a little bit. Went to a lot of their games in high school and in middle school just growing up. I was about an hour and a half away from where I live. So I've been to a lot of their games, and it's just awesome to, we went down there last year, and I got to have a lot of people come out, being from my hometown in Edmond, and has seen all those people and the support they provide. And then also, when they're coming up here, I have a lot of people coming up this weekend. So I'm super excited for the game. It's nice, even though it's not in Tulsa, to be able to play a team still from my home state.
Jeff, what does it mean to see the progression of Colin Madison? Direct admit, had to work his way up through the scout team, saw action against, Syracuse in 2023, and now to see him flourish these past couple of years.
Well, I think Colin and I were just talking about this a couple of weeks ago, just his development and how much better he's gotten as a football player over the course of the time he's been here. There's an outstanding athlete, track runner in high school, really fast, had great track times, and just really had to grow into being a Division I safety, and he has. He's worked really hard in the weight room. He's worked tremendously hard in the classroom to learn our defense, to be able to make all the checks, to get aligned, to get other people aligned where they need to be. And he's really an aggressive player. I think that comes with confidence, knowing the defense, really studying the opponent. And you don't have 10 solo tackles because you just fall into a tackle and the guy happens to run into you. You know where your run fits are, and you know how to take angles and get leverage on ball carriers to get them to the ground. And he's just done a really good job fundamentally. I see him in practice. I see how hard he works, how serious he is about practice. And, just so much credit to this guy for his growth and development over the 4 years he's been here.
Well, Colin, we appreciate the time. What's going to be the future for you in the U.S. Army?
I guess we'll find out in a little less than a month. Hopefully field artillery, but we'll see.
Well, Colin, we appreciate the time. It's been a great 4 years, a great first year, and let's get bowl eligibility on Saturday.
Let's do it. Thank you.
Superintendent's here. Maybe he heard you about FA.
We'll
okay.
See.
Well, yeah, we have so many folks supporting. And see, field artillery. That's Colin Madison joining us here on This Week at Army Football. When we come back, we'll talk more about the Black Knights and the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. You're listening to This Week at Army Football right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
4, 3.
FW Web for plumbing, heating, HVAC, refrigeration, pipes, valves, fittings, and more. With extensive inventory, personalized service, over 100 locations, and a fleet of trucks across the Northeast. Visit fwweb.com for a location near you. Great spot with Colin Madison. And Jeff, he's someone with this Army defense has really turned the page here in the past, 6 weeks? Just some different football and really coming together, maybe most as a unit.
They really are playing good football. Coach Woody's doing a terrific job. But our players are playing hard, and they're playing well. We're tackling better, certainly than we did at the beginning of the year, but we're not giving up big plays, and I hope that'll continue. That's in my opinion, is such a key to playing good defense and keeping things in front of us and stopping the run. And so that's got to continue this week. They've certainly got weapons at Tulsa, and if we'll do a good job of that, then we'll give ourselves a chance.
You talk about tackling, and I'll tell you a player that stuck out for me against Temple, and he gives you some tackling from the defensive back position, the cornerback position, Jabril Williams. He's had a good year. He's a good tackler.
He has. There's another guy that how he has developed and come along in his career, much like Colin.
Yep.
Was not a starter as a young guy in his career, played a lot of special teams just like Colin did, and now he's finding himself in a starting role as a senior, and I'm really, really proud of that guy. Just improving each week. As you said, made some good tackles and made some good plays. He's defended some passes, and so that I think even as a senior for him, because he hasn't played a lot at corner, he's continuing to improve, and I hope he'll get better over the next few weeks and play his best football at the end.
So your defensive line, I know there's been some injuries. Cody Harris-Miller has been.
We had some injuries. Holy moly, man! Those guys. I mean, we're going through boxes of tape and braces. And
you're using ends at
baling
nose
wire
tackle.
and duct tape holding those guys together.
And it's a credit to that whole defensive line. Whether it's the ends, the nose tackles. We've seen a lot of Matt Gemma, Sean Donovan, so many Javon Smith, so many players stepping in
Nick
from
Bucky's,
there.
Guys that hadn't played.
How great has it been having Cody Harris-Miller back the past couple of weeks?
Just his spirit and energy and toughness. That permeates the whole unit, and he's just got great spirit and energy. I love having him out there on the field. I love having him at practice, and it's great to have him back. He's not playing probably as well as he will as he continues to get healthier and improve, but just for him to have the injury that he did and to go through all the rehabilitation and now be back on the field, just really awesome. So. He played better this week than he did the week before against Air Force, and so hopefully that improvement will continue.
And Jacob Tuioti has been out with an injury as well, so a little thin on that line after you got Cody Harris-Miller back. Your linebackers, and it seems each game, Jeff, Andon Thomas, Caleb Fortner, they're making so many plays, and we've talked about that being a product of the defensive line doing its job, right? Opening things up, giving opportunities to the linebackers. And I think I've said this so many times when your middle linebackers have hit their first 2 years. Oh, how are you going to replace? It's almost like a revolving door of middle linebackers that just keep stepping up, and it's almost like they're challenged to be better than those who came before them.
I think the same thing when I think about these two guys. I'm like, holy smokes, how are we going to replace these guys? They make so many plays for us, tackles, and just all of it. What they mean to the team, to the defense as leaders, two really tremendous captains, terrific players, and they're both having really good years, and they've been banged up. Both of those guys have been through their bouts with injuries and played a lot of snaps this year. Close football games means your starters are playing more snaps. There's not those opportunities to get other guys in there as often. Like I think of. Might have been the North Texas game. I think both of those guys played 90 snaps each in that game, and then played 5 days later against East Carolina. So not easy to do. Those guys are having a good season.
It's funny, you go back, right? Andrew King, Jeremy Timpton. I'm going to be forgetting players here. John Radigan, Eric Smith, Leo Lowen. You just go all these names.
Yep.
It's ridiculous the amount of middle linebackers your program has been able to churn out over these years. Defensive backfield, and I know there's some injuries back there. Tulsa, it's funny looking at Tulsa, right? They've thrown the ball and a new quarterback over the last month or so. How have they evolved? Are they any different from earlier in the year? I'm looking at statistics, watching highlights, watching games. It seems like there's some games they've relied heavy on their receivers. They have a great tight end.
They do.
How does that team match up and look to you?
You know, they do a great job of really catering their play calling to the team that they're playing. And like us, we see different defenses every week, and we see teams not just structurally, but what they're trying to consciously take away. And I think, you know, Trey does a really good job of recognizing that. And there's games where they really rely on the run, have been very, very effective doing that. Other times they're throwing the ball more, and who they target and the pass concepts they have against certain coverages. They do a really good job of getting receivers open and get them in the clear and give them a chance to throw the ball. And so I think they're very well coached, and Trey does a good job. And it creates challenges because they put people in space, and they put our guys in space, and you know, it's hard to do.
I remember looking back in September, right? It's Tulsa has a Power 4 win under its belt this year against Oklahoma State. They have a couple of running backs who were teammates at Oklahoma State a few years ago. So it's definitely been a year for Trey Lamb where he's taken some tangible steps forward with a Power 4 win and a young team, and looking to bring a lot of that core back in 2026. But first, it'll be Army and Tulsa coming up on Saturday. When we come back, more This Week in Army Football right here from the Cadet First Class Club, right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield. And welcome back to the show. This week in Army football, Black Knights taking on Tulsa on Saturday, a noon kick time, 10 o'clock airtime across the Army Sports Network with the Army Football Tailgate Show. Limited tickets on sale now. Call 877-TIX-ARMY, online at ArmyGameDay.com. And I'll tell you what, it's been a great year attendance-wise for Army football, right? The near sellout against North Texas, sellout against Charlotte, the Temple game sold out, and a great crowd expected for this Tulsa game. Going to be a lot of fun on Saturday. I still can't wrap my head around just the way the schedule fell this season, right? You're at the mercy of the league, and the one game in October, then had to wait almost a month, and then back-to-back home games with a bye week in between. It just gets me off kilter. I'm a creature of habit, Jeff. Got me off kilter.
I'm glad to be playing at home, Rich. It doesn't matter. And I'd be glad if we played every game at home at Mikey Stadium. But it's going to be great to have this one here, and looking forward to a great crowd. Hopefully a great weather day so that everybody will come out and support these seniors in this senior day game.
And be in your seats at 11:30. Right around then is when the senior day festivities will begin. Also, Army's regular season finale on the road at UTSA. That game time released today. That game will be on ESPN Plus, a 3:30 Eastern time kick from the Alamo Dome. When we arrive on Friday, I've got to quickly get to the Alamo before it closes at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. You've not been there before.
Well, I've been there about 10 times.
Okay.
But they have the bike. I have to see the bike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So bike will be on display.
It's a cool place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great history.
I love it.
Yep.
One of my favorite places. One of my favorite places to go. Pee Wee Herman's bike is on display there. That's
Nice.
why I got to go see it.
There you go.
There you go. So I have to get there on Friday after we land in San Antonio. But
You gonna take
first,
it for a ride?
I don't think they let you.
Okay.
I have to get there though. That's one of my goals. So, Jeff, Saturday against Tulsa, and we talked a lot about the defense against this Tulsa offense. The Tulsa defense, right? And they're led by a nose tackle who came with Trey Lamb from East Tennessee State. Your offense, where are we at this point of the year? Obviously, Helm's running the ball a lot. The bye week, very good for him. How do you look at the Tulsa defense and how they might defend you?
Well, first, that's such a trend now that a coach takes another job and he brings players with him.
The quarterback and the leading tackler.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I think that it stands to reason. You got a philosophy, you got a culture, and you want players in the locker room and on the team that are going to be the leaders, that are going to kind of, I guess, foster that culture within their new teammates. And both of those guys really good players. And defensively, we've got an opportunity to see them play throughout the year. They're very talented. We got the Navy game,
and they were competitive. That was a competitive game at halftime.
Well, they're up 14-0 to start the game, but just structurally, the way that they line up, and that doesn't mean they're going to line up that way against us, but at least we get a chance to see them defending some option stuff and put a plan together, and hopefully we can execute. And it is just about our guys on offense being able to block and sustain blocks. That's how you move the football on offense, whether it's a pass block or a run block or perimeter block or an interior block. You got to block people, and so hopefully we'll be able to do that effectively enough to be able to run the football and protect the passer when we need to.
And let's talk about a big pass reception against Temple. It was a fourth down. Parker Pulaski, someone you go back with his family a little bit, right?
Yes.
Parker Pulaski, his
Yes.
dad, right? You might know him from
Yes.
back in the day, right? Had a big catch. And look, you use those tight ends. They're extra tackles. Liam Fortner is a wide receiver. He might as well be another tight end blocking half the time. Great to see Parker come up with that catch. That was a big play.
Parker's a really good football player. He might be the best tight end we've had since I've been here, and just really having a good year. He's tough, physical, and that was a great play call by Coach Worley. We've been working on that play for that type of situation, and he was able to slip out of there on a run fake, and we hit him that was the biggest play of the game.
Yeah,
and
you needed it.
And we needed it. That was on that drive in the second half to give us a touchdown, and so it was a big play. But I do go back. His family, both of his parents actually, they were all from the same hometown. Mike and Lori, his parents, we went to high school together, and so still very close with his parents and his family. And they traveled all the games. They make it to the road games. They're here at home, and I don't get to see them every single time they're around. I always ask Parker, your folks in town this week, or your folks make it to the game? And he said, yeah, they're always here. And so I'm really happy for them, and I know how proud they are of Parker. He's having a really good year, and to be here at a place like West Point, just really fantastic. So makes me feel old that I'm coaching the son of one of my high school teammates, but that's a thrill for me.
That's got to be a lot of fun. And that was a great catch, Parker Pulaski. Love the way you've been able to use those tight ends. And we've seen other tight ends have to step up because of injuries, right? Brian Dyer goes down with an injury. We see Tex Brown, and we see a lot more tight ends that we're seeing more integrated into the mix.
Yep. Parker's grandpa, he used to work at the Knights of Columbus on Friday nights when they would serve the fish in Joliet. And I remember going in there with my dad. Just thought of that. I tell him, your Grandpa Joe. I see Grandpa Joe always used to give me an extra piece of fish in the box.
So, Jeff, you travel the country. I mean, you have obviously generations of connections from being a college head coach. How often do you cross paths with someone? Now, hometown, that's pretty deep, right?
Yeah.
But in regards to high school, college, those connections, how often? From at this point, right, 30-plus years into
all
it.
All the time. Coaches on other staffs and high school coaches that I've crossed paths with, and now it's like you said, 37 years in this profession. You've crossed paths with a lot of people, and now there are players that I've coached. Their sons are prospects that we're recruiting, and it's pretty cool.
It's wild.
Yeah.
When we come back, one more round of questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken here on This Week in Army Football, live from the Cadet First Class Club right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield. And welcome back one more time to This Week in Army Football. So we're at 7:53. So I've waited 54 minutes, Jeff Monken, and we're going to spend some time this segment talking about what was big news this past week on Wednesday morning, to be exact, and that was the release of the 2025 Army Rivalry uniforms, which we'll be wearing for the Navy game coming up on December 13th. The Army 250 collection, commemorating 250 years of the United States Army. Jeff, what are your thoughts on the palette of uniforms and gear?
Oh, those are fantastic uniforms. I mean, I think everybody was excited when they saw them, and I knew they're great uniforms when my kids told me, Dad, those are fresh. Those are great uniforms. I really like those. So they're usually a better gauge than I am. I think every one of them we've had have been awesome, and these are really cool. And I think just what we represent and what we're honoring, the 250 years of the United States Army, the greatest fighting force the world has ever known. Just awesome to be able to honor our men and women by wearing those uniforms.
And so much symbolism. We'll just go over a little bit of it now. The chain around the Army West Point logo signifying the Great Chain, its role in the Revolutionary War. Of course, there's a touch of purple, whether it be the borders on the uniform numbers or some purple gear. The Purple Heart, obviously such an important part of the U.S. Army. The calligraphy, numbers, and lettering patterned after the U.S. Constitution, and silver helmets, marble jerseys, and pants. It's definitely an eye-catching set, and I'll tell you what, all that matters though what happens on the field, right? You can dress and you don't care what the team is dressed in. No. However, it's a great look coming up for the Army Navy game.
My favorite uniforms at the Army Navy game have been the ones we've won in. That's it. So,
and in your office, those are the ones that are displayed.
Yep.
Now, if someone wears something from a game that Army didn't win, you don't take kindly to that.
I don't
right?
permit it in the office, so they can't even wear it around the office. You can wear that on your own time, but don't bring it around me. I clear my kids' closets out and throw all that stuff away. I don't want to see it. So
if Army doesn't win the game, that's stuff you just don't want to see.
I don't want to see it.
1775.football, the website. You can get all the information on the Army 250 collection. Shop.goarmywestpoint.com to pick up all the gear that you'd want for the Army-Navy game. Such fun. And, Jeff, hey, we're going to honor the seniors. That's really, bowl eligibility, a big deal. Final game at Mikey Stadium. The fact is your senior class is going to say goodbye to Mikey on Saturday. It's going to be special.
There's a lot to play for, so it's going to be a great football Saturday.
Army and Tulsa coming up on Saturday. Jeff Monken, we appreciate your time. We'll see you tomorrow at the press conference, but of course on Saturday at the game.
How much I appreciate the crowd tonight. We got so many folks here that come here
every
to the
week.
University Club. We got our superintendent, General Gillen. He's always here. Theo and the whole executive staff. We got Phil Buttafuoco. We got Dan Mack. We got Tricia Brandenburg was here. Who else we got from the staff?
Zach Peterson's here.
Zach Peterson's here. Your parents come from New Jersey.
That's right.
My mom came from Illinois.
Mike.
We got Jerry from Fishkill. Mike.
Steve
Man, great
Tucker.
crowd.
We got fans coming from Connecticut coming for the show. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
We have 2 more shows. 1 week from today, we'll be previewing Army UTSA. Then, of course, the Army Navy game show. Jeff, thanks as always.
Let's go get them this weekend, Rich.
Let's beat Tulsa. That's Army head coach Jeff Monken. This broadcast, an exclusive presentation of Army West Point Sports Properties, a property of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the United States Military Academy at West Point. This broadcast is copyrighted. Any rebroadcast, reuse of this presentation prohibited without the express written consent of the Academy and Army West Point Sports Properties. And Steve Tucker, the general manager, is here tonight as well. We would like to thank Skylar, Jimmy, Bob, keeping us on the air on the radio, Michael, and Brett, getting the video coverage squared away for us here at the Firsty Club. We'd like to thank Colin Madison, our special guest, for Army head coach Jeff Monken. Rich DeMarco saying so long. Thanks for watching and listening. Have a great rest of your Monday night, everyone. Oh, we forgot Colonel Calloway. That's what we should have said.
Huh?
Colonel Calloway.
Oh, yeah.